welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission here is, well, it's pretty simple. You give us the sources, the blueprints, the really complex technical documents, and we break them down. We turn them into a crystal clear conversation.
And today, we are taking a huge leap forward in understanding the vision behind Brothers AI.
A really massive step. We're moving past the foundations that were laid out in the first few versions, V1, V2, and V3, which were all about the core technology.
Right.
Now we're diving into version 4.0. And according to the material you sent us, RGartner's V4.0 essay, this introduces something completely new, the economic and data infrastructure.
It really is the critical pivot. I mean, if you've been following this architectural journey, you know that V1 through V3 built the technical chassis.
That was the local mini PC for privacy, the semantic urgency protocol, the BLM, and those 3 atmospheric layers of knowledge.
Exactly. The private encyclopedia, the local port cache, and the global fingers cloud. That whole structure, it basically built this secure private digital house. What V4.0 does is it introduces the financial system, the utilities, the commercial rules inside that house.
And the mandate for this new system feels, it feels inherently philosophical. The source makes it absolutely clear this isn't just a technical update to sell software.
Not at all.
It's an economic infrastructure that is explicitly engineered to be transparent, collaborative, and equitable.
Yes. And we have to anchor this whole discussion in RGartner's own words. He says his goal is architectural influence, not launching a startup.
Right.
And then he follows that with a line that I think defines this entire deep dive. I'm not aiming to launch a startup tomorrow. I'm looking to start a conversation today. This whole thing is a counter-proposal to the, let's say, the extractive models of big tech right now.
So it's proposing a completely new set of rules for the relationship between the platform, the user, and all of commerce.
A whole new playbook.
Okay, so if that's the grand vision, a digital economy based on fairness, what are the actual components V4.0 introduces to make that happen? The source material points to 2 critical pieces.
It does. First, you have ISU AIR AI. That stands for Information Source User in the Air, Artificial Intelligence.
ISU AIR AI.
And this is the collaborative data network. Its entire job is to shift the user from being a passive data product, something to be mined, to being a compensated, active participant in the network.
Okay, that's a big shift. And the second component?
The second is Brothers Commerce AI, or BROCOM. And this is the system's economic guardian. Now, it manages all transactions, but its most radical job is regulating and enforcing total transparency in advertising.
So if ISU AIR AI is about paying you for your data, BROCOM is about regulating and, I guess, making brands pay for your attention.
You've got it. That's the perfect summary.
Okay, let's unpack ISU AIR AI first, because the source material really goes out of its way to emphasize that this is not surveillance. But, it's collecting data from users' devices all over the world. So how do they structurally guarantee it's not just a decentralized spy network? What is it, fundamentally?
Fundamentally, ISU AIR AI is a collective intelligence node. Think of it as a central hub that receives these aggregated, high-level queries from all the Bromac devices, the Brothers machines, across the whole ecosystem.
In Bromac, just as a quick refresher, that's the part that grabs raw data from physical sensors, right? Cameras, drones, GPS, that kind of thing.
That's it. It's the hardware interface.
So Bromac is the hands, the physical input catching the raw data. And ISU AIR AI is the brain. It doesn't do the capturing itself. It just orchestrates the whole thing.
Precisely. A perfect analogy. ISU AIR AI doesn't capture data. It orchestrates the request for data across this huge decentralized, and this is the key compensated peer-to-peer sensor network.
So if my device provides information that helps the network or helps professional service with the finger, I get paid, I earn credits.
That's the fundamental flip. The entire system is designed to reward contribution, not to exploit your consumption.
Let's trace the data flow then, because the details here are absolutely crucial for the privacy guarantees. Walk us through the chain of command. What happens when a query needs outside sensor data?
Okay, so it starts with you. You ask your Brother Home Mini PC a question that needs real-time external context. Something like, what's the fastest way to work right now? Or, where's my cat?
Something that my local machine can't know on its own.
Exactly. The request first goes to your port AI, which is like your personal gatekeeper. It's the local context manager. It checks if it can answer locally. If not, it forwards the need for information to ISU AIR AI.
And ISU AIR AI, as the collective brain, it checks its own recent cache first, I assume. for data from the last few minutes or something.
That's right. If the data isn't right there, it sends out a highly targeted request. And this is a really critical architectural point. It doesn't just blast the request to every device on the planet.
Okay.
It only pings the relevant Bromac devices, the ones in that specific geographic area, or the ones that are known to have the right sensor, like an active GPS or an outdoor camera.
The local devices then capture what's needed, and the data flows back. So it's Bromac to ISU AIR AI, then back to my port AI, to my brother home, and finally to me, the user.
Yes, and the second that data is aggregated and used, the compensation kicks in. The users whose devices provided that specific useful piece of information, a traffic reading, a snippet of footage, they earn credits instantly.
This brings up a really important question, something I don't think gets discussed enough. Right now, I use Google Maps or Waze for free. Why would I bother setting up a Bromac and contributing for what sounds like, a few pennies?
Yeah.
How is the value calculated, and why should anyone listening care about microcredits?
That is the most important question. It's all about user motivation. And RGartner's essay suggests the value isn't in one single transaction, it's in the accumulation and the equity. First off, the credit structure is proportional.
Okay.
So a low-value, continuous stream of data, like your phone pinging a traffic update, that's a low-friction contribution. It might earn you a tiny microcredit, maybe a cent, maybe 5 cents.
Those pennies.
It's pennies, but they're earned passively, 24/7, just based on your device's utility.
So I'm basically converting my idle hardware into a constant, if modest income stream.
That's it, exactly. You are constantly generating value just by having your infrastructure online. Now, medium value data, like locating a rare signal or a specific weather event, that might be 10 to 50 cents. And then the high value stuff, unique data like real-time emergency drone footage, that jumps way up. We're talking 1 to 10 euros per submission.
And the system splits the credits if multiple people contribute, so one person can't just game the system.
Correct. It ensures fair distribution. And the whole thing is constantly being audited by RGartner AI, the system's ethical filter, which is always looking for fraud or fake data submissions.
Okay, let's make this more tangible. The use cases in the essay really ground this. Let's start with the lost pet recovery scenario.
Right. So imagine your dog, Max, has a GPS chip that's integrated into the Bromac ecosystem. Max gets out. You just ask your brother home, find Max.
Simple enough.
ISU AIR AI then immediately queries the Bromac network for that specific GPS signal. At the same time, it sends requests to nearby BROCOMs, your neighbor's cameras, looking for visual confirmation of Max based on his profile.
And the architecture makes sure this isn't a massive privacy breach, right? It's not just scanning every camera feed out there.
No, absolutely not. It is asking a permission-validated network for specific data to resolve a specific user-initiated query. As soon as Max is located, Max is 800 meters northeast near the park, the users whose cameras or sensors helped find him, they each get their microcredit. Maybe 5 cents.
So it's basically turning the idea of a neighborhood watch into an instantaneous digital and compensated utility.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, next up. Real-time traffic intelligence. This feels like a huge data challenge. How does ISU AI handle the sheer volume of global traffic data while still being decentralized and sticking to that 24-hour data purge rule?
This is where the architecture is really clever. Traditional apps like Waze, they rely on centralized servers that are constantly tracking raw GPS data from millions of users. That's the big privacy issue.
Right.
With ISU AIR AI, the heavy lifting, the processing of your raw location data is decentralized. It happens locally on your own mini PC.
So my machine processes my data and figures out, hey, my speed just dropped from 60 to 10.
Precisely. And only the aggregated pattern, the fact that a slowdown is happening on Highway 101 along with a timestamp, is securely shared with ISU AIR AI. Your raw continuous location history never leaves your device unless you choose to archive it yourself.
And users get paid for contributing that pattern data. So my daily commute becomes a monetizable asset, which is a very sharp contrast to current platforms that just take that data for free.
It's the difference between being a data source and being a compensated sensor node. When you ask for the fastest route, Port AI checks with ISU AIR AI for that real-time user-contributed data. If it tells you Highway 101 has a 15-minute delay, take Route 82 instead, all the users whose sensors help detect that jam, they're compensated immediately.
Okay, let's look at the emergency response scenario. This is where that high-value, high-urgency data comes in using the BLM protocol.
Right, this is where V4.0's components really integrate with the older architecture. So imagine a fire department is operating as a professional finger. They need urgent data, say a URG-120 request for aerial footage of a fire.
URG-120, that's a high-priority signal.
Very high. ISU AIR AI filters that request through the BLM urgency protocol, which guarantees it gets routed with top priority, cutting through all the noise.
And it's targeted specifically at users who own drones in that area.
Exactly. And those civilians can then choose voluntarily to deploy their drones to help the first responders. If 5 people send up their drones, the fire department gets faster intel from multiple angles. And here's the economic shift. Those users monetize their equipment. For providing critical data in an emergency, they earn a significant credit, maybe up to €5 each.
So their personal hardware becomes a compensated civic service.
Yes.
And finally, crowdsourced media content. This takes it beyond just utility and into decentralized creation.
This is a true anti-CNN model. If a TV network finger queries ISU AIR AI for content like, I need footage of the solar eclipse from all across the US, it pings relevant users based on their location.
And those users can just voluntarily share their camera footage.
Yep, the TV network picks the best clips, and the users whose footage gets used earn anywhere from 50 cents to €5, depending on how it's used.
So it completely bypasses traditional news agencies and creates this self-regulating, compensated content marketplace.
It really democratizes media input. But as you said earlier, all of this, every single use case, hinges on trust. And that trust is built on one core architectural guarantee, the 24-hour data cycle.
We really need to spend time here because just saying we delete it doesn't capture the technical guarantee. What makes this non-hoarding principle an architectural feature and not just a policy promise?
It's the technical enforcement of ephemerality. The moment data hits ISU AIR AI from a Bromac device, it's processed in real time with ultra-low latency. It is only retained for the time needed to answer the query and maybe some short-term pattern analysis with a hard cap of 24 hours.
The latency is key then. The system has to be fast enough to extract the value of the pattern before that deletion clock runs out.
It has to be. And after that 24-hour window, there is a mandatory daily purge. The processed data is destroyed. But the architecture is smart. It doesn't just lose all that value. Before deletion, 2 archival handoffs happen.
Yeah, what are they?
First, the anonymized aggregated patterns. The system-wide historical stuff like long-term traffic trends that get sent to ISU MAC memory. That's the non-personal system database.
And second, the raw data is offered back to the person who generated it.
Yes, exactly. It's offered to the ISU user memory, which is your personal private archive. You can choose to keep your own data, like your GPS tracks or camera recordings, completely siloed on your mini PC or your own private cloud.
So what's the big picture takeaway here for the listener, especially compared to how big tech handles our data now?
It eliminates the primary way data gets exploited, permanent centralized storage. It means no permanent surveillance because there's no single aggregated user data set sitting on a server farm forever, vulnerable to breaches or monetization. It forces user control over their own archive. And for regulations like GDPR, compliance becomes way simpler because there's almost nothing persistent to audit. It's a system where you're a paid collaborator and your data footprint is intentionally ephemeral.
All right, so if ISU AIR AI builds the compensated data rails, BROCOM, the brothers Commerce AI, is the engine that runs on them. And its main mission seems to be a war on what the essay calls systemic abuse through hidden advertising.
It absolutely is. BROCOM manages the entire commercial ecosystem. The tokens and credits, the mentions ADS systems, streaming monetization, e-commerce, everything. And it does it all with a minimal 2 to 5% commission just to keep the infrastructure running.
But its core identity, the thing that gives it a real edge, is how it tackles undisclosed product placement. We have to really establish the problem that V4.0 is trying to solve here.
The problem is that the digital economy is fundamentally rigged. RGartner points out how major brands have been exploiting this legal loophole of undisclosed product placement for decades. And it's not just unethical, it's anti-competitive.
Let's go through the examples from the source because they really drive the point home. The streamer with the branded hoodie.
Right. That streamer says, oh, I just like this brand, or I bought it myself. But the reality is, whether they're officially sponsored or just hoping to be, they are providing free, massive, and manipulative advertising for that brand. The audience is consuming a subtle ad without even knowing it.
Or the more insidious one. The influencer complaining about a competing product in a supermarket.
That supermarket, or the products they mention, get huge unpaid visibility, often fueled by controversy. The audience gets distracted by the drama, and the brand gets free commercial exposure, which just undermines competitors who are actually paying for ads.
And the most universal example, the branded shopping bag.
Oh, this one is perfect. You pay 15 cents for a bag with the store's logo, turning yourself into a walking advertisement for them right after you've already paid for your groceries. The whole economic relationship is inverted.
And the most relevant one for us,
Yeah.
the casual product in frame. The podcaster with the Coca-Cola bottle on their desk for 2 hours.
This is the critical target for V4.0. That brand gets hours of organic, incredibly valuable exposure to thousands of viewers, all for free, just under the guise of, it's what I'm drinking. The fundamental problem, according to the source, is that big brands get this free ride, and that locks out small businesses who just can't compete.
And the solution proposed by Brothers AI is absolute. Which brings us to the core principle of Mentions ADS.
The principle is simple, it's non-negotiable. If a brand is mentioned or shown in any public broadcast context, someone must pay for that exposure, period. The economic value of that visibility cannot be zero.
And the mechanism for that payment is the piggy bank, the hoocha.
Yes. Companies deposit real money into BROCOM, it's converted into credits, and held in their hoocha account. These credits are then spent on different kinds of exposure in the ecosystem. No credits, no exposure, it's that simple.
Okay, let's detail the first layer of this, conversational transparency, starting with level 1, the simple name mention.
This is all about answering a user's question while staying commercially neutral. Brother AI will mention a brand name in a response to a direct query, but with a hard limit of 3 brand mentions per response, so it can't just spam you.
So if I ask, where's a Domino's pizza nearby? And Domino's has credits in its hoocha.
Then Brother responds directly. Domino's Pizza is 500 meters away. And that costs them the base rate, which the essay suggests could be as low as, 0.009 euros, something a tiny local business can afford.
Okay, that's the transaction. But what if they don't have credits? This is the key part.
This is the structural neutrality. If Domino's has no credits, Brother still has to answer your question, but it cannot give them free advertising. So the response becomes, that pizza place you mentioned is 500 meters away. The brand name is skipped.
Wait, let me challenge that. Does that hurt the user experience? If I ask for Domino's and the AI refuses to say the name, isn't that punishing me?
That's the delicate balance it strikes. And the argument is no, it doesn't punish the user. It prioritizes utility first. You still get the location, you still get the directions. The only thing missing is a free commercial confirmation for the brand. You get the answer to your practical question. The company just doesn't benefit without paying.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move to level 2. Mention plus an offer or benefit.
Right. This costs a bit more, say, 0.015 euros because it gives extra value to the user. Instead of just Domino's is 500 meters away, it becomes Domino's Pizza is 500 meters away. Today, they have a margarita special with free drinks included.
It's an immediate value-added promotion embedded right into the answer.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the rotation system, which is meant to keep things competitive even when a user asks for a non-paying brand.
This is crucial. So you asked for Domino's, who has 0 credits. Brother gives you the neutral answer first, but then it rotates in a paying competitor. So the response might be, that pizza place is 500 meters away. However, Pizza Palace, which is 600 meters away, is running a special today. They have that level 2 margarita deal.
So the user gets their original answer, plus a timely, valuable, paid-for option from a competitor. Domino's gets nothing, Pizza Palace gets rewarded.
It's designed to make the commercial incentive crystal clear. If you want to be part of the conversation, you have to pay your share. And because of this, the system needs guardrails. That's where RGartner AI comes in again, looking for what it calls economic sabotage.
Sabotage? How would that even work here?
Well, imagine a competitor tells its employees to just repeatedly ask for their rival, give me more options for Pizza Palace 100 times, with the goal of draining Pizza Palace's hoocha, their ad credits.
I see.
RGartner AI detects that pattern anomaly. It asks, is this genuine curiosity or a coordinated attack? If it's confirmed as sabotage, penalties are applied. It has to constantly self-police to keep the whole thing fair.
Okay, if levels 1 and 2 are about regulating conversation, level 3 is, this is the radical part, mandatory payment for passive visual product placement enforced by real-time computer vision.
This is the technological apex of BROCOM and definitely the most controversial part of V4.0. Brothers AI uses computer vision to scan all user-generated video streams in real time. It's looking for logos, branded products, text, and then it calculates the duration and prominence of that exposure.
That seems like an incredible technical challenge. It has to detect, calculate, confirm payment, and potentially blur the image, all faster than my eye can even register a delay.
The whole system is designed around extreme low latency for that exact reason. Let's break down the detection. The video feed is analyzed in grid partitions. Each little section is processed for logo recognition, like a Nike swoosh, OCR text detection for reading small brand names, and object classification, like identifying a bottle or headset.
So it identifies a bottle and cross-references that with the Coca-Cola logo. But how does it determine intentionality? Because a logo just passing by in the background shouldn't trigger a charge, right?
Right, and that's the intentionality detection algorithm. It checks multiple factors. Is the logo in focus? Is it centered in the frame? Is the creator talking about it at the same time? Is the label turned perfectly toward the camera? It even tracks repetition across multiple streams. All of that generates a prominence score.
Is all of that data feeds into an automated financial calculation?
Exactly. The final cost is calculated by a formula. Screen time times the relative size of the logo times that prominence score, all multiplied by a base rate.
So let's use the classic example. A streamer with a can of Coke on their desk for a 2-hour stream.
Okay. Brothers AI detects that logo for, say, 135 minutes. It runs the formula, which results in an automatic credit deduction, maybe €2.50. BROCOM immediately deducts that from Coca-Cola's Mentions ADS account.
And what if Coca-Cola, like most brands today, assumes they get that exposure for free and hasn't put any money in their hoocha?
Then the logo is automatically blurred in real time. That's the technical enforcement of the economic rule. No payment, no exposure.
This level of automation sounds like it requires incredible transparency for the actual content creator. How are they even notified about this?
Transparency is mandatory. First, there's a pre-stream warning. Before you go live, Brothers AI gives you a notice. Hey, we've detected these branded products. They may be charged. This forces you to make a choice. Remove the item, pay for it yourself, or accept the risk of it being blurred.
And then after the stream, they get a full report card.
A full granular post-stream dashboard. It'll show Coca-Cola can, 2 hours, 15 minutes, $2.50 charged, Nike hoodie, 45 minutes, blurred, 0 charged. This audit trail is the proof of fairness, and you can even dispute it with RGartner AI if you think it made a mistake.
We have to hit the philosophical counter-arguments here because this really touches on creative freedom. First one, I genuinely like this product. I bought it myself. Why can't I just show it?
The architecture's response is about the line between private life and public broadcast. In private, use whatever you want. The moment you transmit it to a public audience, it generates commercial exposure. It generates economic value. And BROCOM says that value cannot be ignored. If you love the brand that much, you can pay the credits to show it, but the system won't grant free economic advantage in a public commercial space.
The second argument, the surveillance claim. Brothers AI is scanning my desk and my clothes.
And the counter to that is that this is advertising detection, not surveillance. The system is only scanning the public content that you chose to broadcast. If you transmit it publicly, you're implicitly agreeing to the commercial rules of that platform. If you don't want it detected, don't stream it or use unbranded stuff.
What about the claim that blurring logos is basically censorship?
The argument in the essay is that it's advertising regulation. I mean, think about TV. A network can't just show an unpaid logo for 30 minutes during a show. They're regulated. Online content, the argument goes, should operate under the same principle of market fairness. If a brand won't pay for exposure, it has no right to that visibility. Blurring is just the technical enforcement of that.
And the distinction between indoor and outdoor streams is vital here.
Absolutely. In a controlled indoor stream, your studio, your bedroom auto blurring applies. But if you're streaming outdoors, walking through Times Square with all its billboards, Brothers AI does not blur those. You're not responsible for the pre-existing paid-for advertising in the public domain.
Unless you deliberately zoom in and focus on a billboard for minutes on end.
Exactly. The core test is still intentionality and prominence. It's all built to eliminate free, manipulative exposure and make commercial relationships honest, transparent, and paid for.
So this radical transparency, this high level of regulation from BROCOM, it basically makes traditional advertising pre-roll videos, banner ads, completely obsolete in this ecosystem.
They're obsolete because they're failures, they're inefficient, people skip them, block them, they create negative brand association. We know from psychology that integrated exposure works better. Seeing a product used organically feels like an endorsement, not a sales pitch. V4.0 just says that organic integration has to be paid for and transparent.
So if interruption ads die, brands need new ways to connect.
Yep.
The essay lays out 4 pathways. We've covered pure mentions and visual placement. What's pathway 3? The commercial partnership.
This is for formal sponsorships. It's a 3-way contract. The brand, the influencer, and Brothers AI. BROCOM registers the agreement and uses its AI to track compliance, making sure they hit the right number of verbal mentions and screen time.
And the key benefit for the audience is, again, total transparency.
Absolutely. The viewer gets full disclosure. The stream shows a visible indicator, commercial partnership, Red Bull, and you can click it to see the terms and the estimated value of the deal. The creator is compensated fairly and the audience is never deceived.
Okay, pathway 4 is the architectural game changer. Direct brand fingers. This seems to upend the entire model of e-commerce.
This is the end of the company website and the search engine as we know them. Instead of spending millions on SEO, companies create their own reverse API fingers, a Nike finger, an Adidas finger, a local bookstore finger. And these fingers talk directly with users through Brother AI, based entirely on what the user says they want.
So walk me through that. I don't click links anymore. I just have a conversation with the AI.
It's all natural language. You say, I need running shoes for marathons. Budget is 150 euros. Brother AI instantly queries the relevant fingers. Instead of a page of links, it just has a conversation with you. Nike has the Pegasus 40, designed for long-distance stability, currently 140 euros with free shipping.
And the conversion is instantaneous because all the friction is gone.
Buy the Pegasus 40. BROCOM processes the payment immediately, confirms with the Nike finger, and the product ships. The whole process takes seconds. It bypasses searching, comparing tabs, logging in, filling out forms, all of it.
And this is why the essay targets a 10 to 20% conversion rate, which is just astronomical compared to the 0.02% for a YouTube ad. Why is it so high?
It's a convergence of 3 perfect conditions. 1, user-initiated intent. You started the conversation, you're already ready to buy.
2, perfect context.
The recommendations are matched precisely to your query. And 3, 0 friction. You go from decision to payment in one conversational flow. Plus, Brother AI acts as a trusted, neutral intermediary, which builds a level of trust that's completely missing in today's ad world.
The system's intelligence also allows for really innovative bundling.
Yes. This is where the AI becomes a true economic consultant. You need a laptop for video editing, Brother connects you to the Dell finger, but then it says, hey, for video editing, you'll need external storage. Seagate has a deal where you get a 20% bundle discount on their SSD if you buy it with the Dell.
And it processes that as one seamless transaction.
Or it uses lifestyle coherence. If it knows you often look up vegan restaurants, when you ask for running shoes, it might prioritize a brand like Allbirds, saying they use sustainable materials and are popular with plant-based athletes. It stops feeling like an ad and starts feeling like a genuinely helpful, personalized recommendation.
So the end goal is advertising equality, democratizing access so a small shop can afford a mention, and total transparency for the consumer.
Which brings us back to that open philosophical debate in the essay. Should mentions ADS apply to the foundational Layer 1 encyclopedia, the pure knowledge base?
Right. The argument for is that it needs funding. The argument against is that it has to remain pure, commercial-free truth.
And the proposed compromise is really elegant. Layer 1, the universal knowledge, is kept strictly ad-free. Commercial activity is allowed in Layer 2, the port cache, because that layer is all about immediate, local, practical context, like nearby businesses. It neatly separates objective truth from commercial utility.
So BROCOM's job is bigger than just ads. It has to manage the entire financial health and compliance of the ecosystem, starting with how content creators get paid.
Right. It manages all the internal token economies for streamers, gifts, challenges, donations, premium content.
But why move all that to BROCOM instead of just using PayPal or Twitch?
2 reasons: economic fairness and integrity. First, low fees. BROCOM takes a tiny 2 to 5% commission, not the 10 to 30% you see elsewhere, so the creator keeps most of their earnings. And second, it's seamlessly integrated and all transactions are audited by RGartner AI, so there's no platform funny business.
Now let's talk about BROCOM Shop. You mentioned it being TikTok shop, but better.
It's better because it fixes the systemic flaws. Again, lower fees. It's privacy first, so no data harvesting. It's integrated with the urgency system. And critically, AIR AI enforces fair rankings, preventing pay-to-rank schemes and fake reviews that plague other platforms.
And the special local search service is what allows small local shops to compete with giants.
This is a direct shot at Amazon's model. Your query is specific. Phillips screwdriver, size number 2, available within 1 hour. BROCOM queries local shops with SOC integration, finds one 10 minutes away, reserves the item for you, and processes the payment in escrow.
So you just go pick it up. That immediately lets the local hardware store compete on urgency and proximity using the system's own architecture against the slow, centralized giants.
The whole system is built to make the local solution the fastest and most efficient one. And all of this is underpinned by the guarantee of transparency and auditing.
Tell me more about the auditability of the credit ledger, the HUCHA.
It's not a black box. It's fully auditable. Every credit flow is recorded. Who deposited money, how it was spent, who received it. This is crucial for trust.
And who gets to audit it?
Regulatory bodies, primarily. Tax authorities can inspect it for compliance, and users can see aggregate statistics like Domino's spent 5,000 euros on ads in New York this month.
AIR AI is the constant watchdog.
Constantly monitoring for fraud, money laundering, and abusive pricing. And finally, BROCOM is designed to be globally compliant. It doesn't impose rules on governments. It collaborates, adapting to local regulations on advertising, taxes, and consumer protection.
Okay, to bring this all together, let's just quickly walk through that full use case. The streamer with product placement, using all the v4.0 components.
This is the ultimate test. A streamer is live for 3 hours. They have an unpaid Coke bottle, a sponsored Razer headset, and a generic Nike hoodie. The computer vision scans the stream in real time, detecting all 3 logos.
BROCOM checks the HUCHA accounts. Coke and Razer have credits. Nike has 0.
Correct. So the Razer headset and the Coke bottle logos stay visible, and credits are deducted live from their accounts. The Nike logo, however, is automatically blurred because the brand hasn't paid. The viewer sees the stream slightly degraded where the logo should be, which signals that the rules are active.
The streamer gets the post-stream report detailing the charges and the reason for the blur. This confirms the entire economic layer is automated, transparent, and enforceable.
The whole system works together. ISU AIR AI provided the network for the stream, RGartner AI maintained the integrity of the ledger, and BROCOM ensured every bit of commercial value was paid for.
So this journey through version 4.0 really shows that the goal of this architecture is so much bigger than just technology. V1 through V3 built the tech, V4.0 built the transparent, regulated economy.
It truly is a design for capitalism, but with rules. It ensures fairness for everyone. Small businesses can afford to play, users get transparency and get paid for their data, and creators get low fees. The core statement is clear. We will not allow the digital economy to replicate the abuses of the analog one.
We've covered some really radical ideas today.
Yeah.
The ISU AIR AI 24-hour data purge, the use of computer vision to enforce payment for even passive logos, and that fundamental shift from interruption ads to conversational commerce.
The whole architecture is designed for maximum efficiency and trust. The user provides the sensor data and gets paid. The brand pays for exposure and gets better conversion. It only works if it can't be gamed.
Which brings us to the profound challenge that's embedded in this whole design, especially with that auto-blurring function. BROCOM fights abuse by requiring payment for all commercial exposure and automatically blurring anything that's unpaid. By eliminating all free, accidental, or casual brand presence, what is the consequence?
The question is whether Brothers AI, in its relentless pursuit of economic equality, inadvertently makes the digital world feel too regulated, maybe too curated, or even sterile. Is eliminating manipulative advertising worth losing the organic chaos and the accidental discoveries of the internet as we know it?
It's a massive trade-off. By getting rid of all the commercial noise, do we risk creating a world that, while it's mathematically fair and super efficient, feels less authentically spontaneous, less randomly discovered, and maybe just too controlled? A digital reality where everything is clean, cataloged, and accounted for.
Something for you to ponder as you reflect on the future of the digital economy.
Thank you for providing the materials for this deep dive into the collaborative economy layer of Brothers AI v4.0. We hope this leaves you not just informed, but genuinely reflective about the trade-offs required for true digital transparency. We'll see you next time.